Okay, so I was just singing a Kylie Minogue song to myself in the 7-Eleven because there was people in there with their loud talking, because the loud talkers, they are matrix artificial people. They talk loud to distract you, to take over your moment in the reality. They want your moments to not be with your own kind, with, or even with your own thoughts or your own peace of mind, whatever, depending on what you want to do, or need to do. For me at the moment, the wanting something is exactly the same as the needing something. The two are both hand in hand, shall we say. Whereas in the past, you might want something, but you might not necessarily need it for your survival or for your well-being, shall we say. But the wanting still overrides the needing, strangely enough. But that's just me personally. But hey, the matrix does drive you into extremes. And of course, the human emotion can go to extremes, but it wouldn't be a bad thing if you were in the moment with who you want to be in the moment with, as opposed to being in this matrix moment. See, the matrix is all around, as they say. So the matrix tries to take your moment. They want you to be in their moment. Matrix beings want to have your moments. They don't want you to separate from the matrix and combine or even interact with your own kind or another real person, or at least, I can use words. I could say human and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. I could be wrong on the terminology. But the terminology, this is a reverse world, so who knows? But it doesn't matter. You only know that you are different to what is around you. That in comparison to how you see things and how you want life to be and how you feel okay, when you feel good, when you feel positive. Whereas the matrix operators, those technical beings, they operate the matrix, and it's a negative, low frequency, low energy, low negative energy, low dark energy, low. It's the energy that is where a human being is at their lowest point. It's like energy of anger, extreme anger and frustration and despair. That's what it really is. It's always got those things behind it. Even because you could even be angry in a moment, but it might just be angry at something trifle, and it might just be expressive. How in Italy they throw plates sometimes at one another. The woman will throw a plate at a man, but then make up 2 seconds later, that sort of thing. I've seen that in movies. We don't do that in Australia or England, or not even too much in America, I don't think. But I'm only going on the movies. But, normally, if I did that, it probably would mean anger. But that would depend on who I'm dealing with. If you're with someone that's your own kind and they understand you, and they know that and they know that you really like them no matter what. Yeah, they know that you have I'm not sure if the sound's up on this thing to where you can hear it, but I hope you can hear me, and if you can, you may also be able to hear the traffic. I'm not, unless they play with the things, because certainly up here you are very aware. Look, all this traffic, over the last few years, the traffic, as I've said before, is not normal, the sounds it makes, the way, what's this van slowing up in front there like that for? There's no reason for this traffic to be slowing up here in front, by the way. No reason at all. it's slowing up because I've chose to sit here because they thought, hey, she won't sit here because it's still daylight, and they prefer to move me along to even that little park. But there again, it always turns into a negative thing, because I said to my son, do you want to meet in the little park like we did yesterday? And yesterday basically he waited and didn't turn up because I got caught by Matrix people in the park. And so ended up going somewhere else, and that took more time. So then I'm just going to say that I'm very sorry about not returning the telephone call the next day to the English one, especially at such a difficult time, but basically I had problems of my own, and the time that like where you end up in matrix situations, which means that you end up staying up longer, so therefore you end up back round on the day shift. See, I have to be really on the total night shift if I want to ring someone in another country where it is, like for instance, while it is daylight here, it is dark or nighttime in London, say. So therefore, if I want to, provided that person is because you can't stay up 24 hours a day when you're in a matrix, because actually you get exhausted pretty quick, because even if you have strong good intentions, the physical body and the physical can take over, and that if you do extend it for one day, that the next day you may not be able to cope with what they throw at you too. So it's very much like that. You're aware that you're already at rock bottom. So, if you become really sleep deprived, which they do, they certainly used to do that to me quite a bit. Especially if they make noise to where you can't sleep, or and if they know that you're worried about something, then you might have difficulty even in yourself. So they just play it according to what they have to do to keep you always in a negative frame of mind. That's essentially it. Like if you've become depressed yourself due to personal interactions, and you become frustrated and depressed, then they will take advantage of that. But they don't. But unless they want you to completely leave the matrix, or they want to get rid of you completely, because don't forget, while they can still use you, they don't want you gone. They want you just at rock bottom to where you wish you were gone, but they don't want you gone because they're still using you. I can't always be sure of what their mindset and what they are actually doing myself. No, but I guess that. But there could be other factors too. It could be that they actually can't make you leave unless you choose to. So in other words, they, like I say, they make it to where you find life so unendurable in the matrix that yes, you do think that way. But that is what they want then, you see, because then you have chosen to leave of your own accord, probably before your time, shall we say, something like that. Because let's be honest, if you weren't in a matrix, you would be doing everything you can to keep going, and you would probably find some enjoyment in this world, because there are still things there that show you that there is still some positive things. It's just that if you are always surrounded by matrix technical negative people, even a pleasant activity can be made a lot less pleasant. Your enjoyment is taken. If you're stalked, wherever you go, even if you're able to avoid the noise or and say, oh well, I will be in a temporary good frame of mind. I will try to force myself to pretend that everything is okay, say for half an hour or something. They won't stand for that, really, to be honest. That's been my experience anyway. So it shows us that the human vibration and feelings and their, I have to use those words, but basically that their mental, emotional capacity is stronger. The human emotional capacity is stronger than the intellect. If it's allowed to run free, it's stronger than the intellect, the technical intellect of a machine matrix. That's what I think, and that's why they suppress the human being. That's been obvious to me from the start, because otherwise there'd be no reason for it. I mean, I do think that that the Matrix and its God and its minions, those that control the Matrix, which have always been around, I do think that they, let's be obvious, let's come right in front. But I do think that they, see, that's the thing, they don't want me to leave personal messages, so they'll come right up there, like that's so obvious, Anything to distract and to, to bring you into the Matrix, that's right, instead of you having a moment, even on the mobile, where you might think that someone on the other side of the world, when they get the message, that they will, connect with you. They don't want that. They have to have multitudes of people connecting to even maintain this matrix, because they have no frequency or vibration of any merit at all. They are negative machine-like people. They only can, because they have no positive vibration, no positive feelings or emotions about anyone or anything really, apart from when it involves their own narcissism, shall we say. That's why we call this thing the narcissistic psychopathic personality disorder, that is largely what's around you. But that's because, you have these artificial beings. And that is another trick too, I think, to employ that mental condition onto humans, so that humans are still in the dark as to how powerful this is that's really around you, that it's a united front, a united collaborative effort by all these artificial technical beings. Of course, the same thing would be happening to us even if it was a natural world. How can you think this is natural? Take a look. Does this look natural to anyone? Does it really look or feel natural? It doesn't feel natural. See, there again, I'm talking about feeling, the emotion, the vibration, the frequency of the vibration, but that's actually too technical for me, to be quite frank. I've overstepped my own mental ability there. I was trying to get some sort of, like sometimes I'll say stuff and I'll actually know exactly what it means, like it'll click in my head. I'll say, I said that, and it makes absolute sense, I get it. Other times, like just then, I said it, but I think it's true, but I'm not fully getting it. But everything else I've said, I do fully get it. I don't have to say that, by the way, because, it just makes me look less capable making a video. But hey, so all these people, they look like random natural people, that traffic banking up in front, not natural at all. And I think I'm getting a bit of the pollution. But then again, I have been, like if I went to a doctor with that cough, they'd say that I was some sort of virus or some, they do see the human being as an epidemic if they're allowed to connect. That's how these matrix lot that are all around actually see a human being. When I say matrix lot, they are all technical beings. There's very few of my kind left. See how it's all slowing up in front of me to draw me into the Matrix moment instead of having a moment even on a mobile. Because I can imagine while I'm talking that I might be talking to some real people and hopefully one real person. But, they don't want you to have that. And that's not even a real moment, because if you haven't got someone right in front of you, if I can't hear someone's voice, at the very least, the voice was enough for me for quite a number of years. But then, of course, if you can see a real person as well, that gives you much, much more. But basically, it's just that you want to know more, and the more you hear and see, the closer you are, and the more you like. So it's like that, and so it's like if you were satisfied with just a voice and then you get to see something, you're not going to be satisfied if it comes down to just a voice again. Not all the time anyway. In fact, this is a connection time, so you actually need more. But if the Matrix takes your moments, that's right, and takes you over and makes it so that you can't be in contact with someone mentally like you should be able to whenever you feel like it or whenever you need to. It could be every few days. In fact, it could be every day, but because the Matrix drains you and will exhaust you, and because you will exhaust yourself even in a conversation, like even making these videos, I'm not relaxed. I'm trying to be, but I'm actually not. Not just because the Matrix is around me, but because you want to connect, and you want to make yourself heard in the way that you want to be heard, and you're not sure that you're going to come across the right way. You know that you might be misinterpreted. That's a problem, because you think it's so important, because you have, in the past, when I first started making the videos, I didn't feel that I had to personally connect with one person. So I could talk more vague and more airy-fairy, and I would be disappointed if I didn't get or didn't sound, didn't sound as though I made sense. But I wouldn't, it wouldn't make me, like into the depths of despair, because it wasn't personal. But when it's personal, it becomes, so you just cross right in front. All these patrolling people, they always cross in front. They've been crossing in front of me all the way down here, but I can't film. I haven't got space to film the whole time, and plus it would take me a long time getting down here, as it already does. And also it just looks as though people just happen to always walk in front of you or cross. It doesn't look that outrageous to a lot of people. But if you actually thought about it, and realise that it would not be plausible that if you walk, say, a block or two, and that people that are coming behind you or coming in front or coming on the other side of the road, that they always decide to cross, like in the space of a whole road, they decide always to cross in front of you. That's so you're always in their line of sight. That way you're aware they're patrolling and stalking, but no one else is. This is all very cleverly done and very sneakily done by this Matrix God and its disciples, which are, no, I can't get my thoughts to put into words what group of people these are clearly today. I sometimes can get it when I'm thinking to myself, but when I go to make the video, I'm like, it won't make sense. It'd be a bit like saying, but it'd be a bit like this, I will say. Like I'm Australian, right? Because I live in Australia and I was born in Australia. You know, the Englishman is English because he was born in England and lives in England. You know, I dare say an American would be the same, or an Italian would be the same, or a Greek person would be the same, an African person would be the same. I don't even know all the countries of the world. A Swedish person, Sweden's a country. Oh dear, I'm making videos and I'm just showing how terribly ignorant I was in saying that. Oh goodness gracious me. I'd say my son was here, he'd say, well, there you go, that shows you what I've been telling. But you see, that's because Matrix people do know a lot of basic things. They download our thinking, and they also have information. So they can sound very intelligent, but they don't believe a word they're saying. They only do it to take over the reality, to take over a conversation, to take over... to influence you to where you will listen to them and believe in them, trust them, all this sort of stuff, really. That's really all it is. It's very clever. See, if they think that you're making sense or you're on a roll, then they will just send that odd bike or that odd vehicle that makes a little bit of noise. But there again, it looks normal and natural to another person. But you, in your conversation, you know it's sidetracking. You know it's them, yes, the Matrix taking your moment. And the Matrix not only takes your moments, it takes every moment. That's what it desires to do, and that's what it does do. That's its aim, and that's exactly what it does do, because it's almost impossible for your senses not to take something in. You know, in fact, human beings, as I said before, are meant to take in with their senses everything that's around them. It's just that they're not meant to be taking in a technical artificial matrix and living amongst technical artificial beings, you know, that they mistake for their own kind or real human beings, if you want to say that my kind is a real human being. You know, it could be, it's a reverse world, so the terminology may not be accurate. I can only say that one is, strives to be positive in a real way, not just in a false acting way like the Matrix ones do. They do that to bring us into their fold, so that you're associating with them as opposed to connecting with your own kind, which is a real human being. They don't want you to have moments with a real human being. They want you to have all your moments and all your thinking, everything shared with them, so they can take advantage of it, so they can use it, so they can manipulate others with it. That is the name of their game. That is the Matrix game played in this now closing in end time situation, I would say, but it wouldn't matter what time it was, you know. And I've got myself exhausted here, and yet I was going to start out singing the Kylie Minogue song, because the Englishman mentioned to me about Kylie Minogue. He said, what do you think of Kylie Minogue? Because Kylie Minogue, of course, is Australian, you see, even though she's just as popular in England as in Australia. That's for whatever reason, you know. And because, you know, because I'm in the Matrix moment, as opposed, even when you're talking to a real person and you want to connect so badly, that makes you more stressed because you're trying too hard. And if you're tired and the Matrix is, you're in the Matrix.
Excuse me.
Oh, you want to get here, do you?
I'm going to open the door.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll move along. Sorry, I didn't know you used that door. I thought it was just
okay.
okay.
Just 1 minute.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll just close my mobile.